Hello, my name is Evie and welcome back to Overwatch Everyday. This is a series where I play 1 to 5 ranked games each day, explaining my thought process that gets me up to champ on all roles throughout the video. In this video, we start out by playing Baptiste, but end up realizing that raw numbers alone were not going to be enough to win the game, so with a tactical swap to LifeWeaver, we make our team near invincible and start rolling the game. Later, I showcase unique ways to carry on Brigida, Juno, and wrapping up the video on Kiriko. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Getting right into this fight here, we see that our D.Va is falling low on the choke, so we just want to make sure that we're putting ourselves in a spot that we are not able to be poked out by the enemy team. And as we see our Sierra fall and we find the trade onto the Genji, I want to make sure that I'm breaking these railings to make sure that my healing is not caught on anything, so I'm able to keep my D.Va alive. If they want to step onto us, I'm going to kite back to that high ground above the elevator. As my D.Va looks to step here, and we might want to be getting a little bit more aggressive, there's a chance that we want to be taking this high ground, but in the meantime we just want to make sure that we're poking out whoever we can, keeping our Zen alive. If they ever try to fight for that high ground, we can be looking to lamp it. And since the Ramatra goes down, we're able to step up since that was the main threat onto us, trying to control as much space on the map as possible and then winning that fight convincingly. I wasn't recording my mic audio. I can probably overlay for that a little bit. Oh well. Our D.Va is going to fall really low, so I'm just going to be popping my lamp to make sure that they stay alive. And because we keep our D.Va alive and their Winston goes in off of the fake trigger from our D.Va potentially being forced out, they're going to be blown up inside of a wow! They're going to be blown up inside of our space. So Genji's unfortunately going to be able to use our Zenyatta orbs to blow us up. Which happens. I didn't need to peek that. Maybe it's better that my Zen lives. I'm not so sure. I'm just going to throw a lamp, giving my team a few options to play around. As their Genji Wu-Ying step up here, it's going to make it really difficult for me to actually play. So I'm just going to be backing up. I'm going to give up that first point unless unless we are trying to recontest, which we are not going to be able to do so, which is definitely a-okay. We're going to have a pretty large tower spike here. I don't really want to be tracking that tracer around and trying to hit them. Genji falls very 1 HP, so we're going to be trading out their Nano Blade for 1 kill onto our Zenyatta, trying to keep up our Sierra the best that we can. Winston Primal Rage gets popped. I want to be finding my way onto this high ground, which will make it a lot more difficult for their Winston to actually juggle me here. Something about Winston Primals is that you want to try to get them to overshoot their jump if you want to live a Primal. If you want to live a Primal, the main way that Winstons are going to be able to mess up their Primals is by overshooting their jump. So if you're able to bait that or make the jump really hard to really nail, then you'll be finding yourself living a lot more against Primal Rages. So I was sitting in that middle high ground there because it was going to give me time. It was going to be a very difficult jump for them to get directly onto that middle high ground to get their landing damage off onto me and hit the swing to start their juggle. And if they jumped too high, then I would have been able to exo boot as they came down, and it would have been very hard for them to convert that, or like any hit that they would have onto me into a real juggle there. So I'm going to be going down actually. I figured that we would be taking a little bit more damage or aggression, but since I was not paying attention to what my D.Va was actually doing, I'm going to be overextending and walking into their team's effective range, not getting a chance to use my window here. Since my D.Va steps onto the point, I hear they're on left side. I really don't want to get slept here, but as their Sierra steps onto me, I need to deal with that first before I'm actually able to help the D.Va, because if their Sierra is just going to beam me in the head as I try to heal my D.Va, then I'm not going to get that much done. So I need to win that 1v1 first, and I will be able to because we have the advantage with our ultimate ability. but we will be on the back foot for this game. Wondering what I should try to lean into a little bit here. What has our team been struggling with? I think it has just been kind of raw healing. Our diva has been taking a lot of damage, and we've been getting forced out fairly early, but as we swap to Ramatra, I think that problem might be solved. Genji's on this high ground, so now we need to be making sure that our backliners stay alive the best that they can. We're going to be popping our lamp to save our Sierra and potentially our Kiri. Just trying to make sure that our Sierra is able to live, because as long as we are keeping everybody up and ready to follow up on our Bastion form, our team's going to be in a very, very good spot, especially on this third point here, or the last choke of this third point, where everybody's going to be in a pretty good spot. My Ram is stepping up fairly aggressively, so I'm going to be throwing a lamp to try to care them. Even if I don't hit the healing from my shift necessarily, just popping it is going to be giving me the increased fire rate, which will allow me to keep my Baptiste up. We can get to 1 HP, so I'm going to be trying to blow that up, especially since we have the rush on main. We're going to have a few more resources on that main area, so I will be able to afford to look at that left side and try to take down that Wu Ying to make sure that they don't have an angle to really pressure us out as we're trying to exchange resources on the front line. So, wondering how we want to be really playing here as their diva steps up. I might just window this, see if we're going to be able to demech and blow that up, enabling our Matra. We are going to be able to find the mech onto, oh, an eye for an eye. Ram? What'd I say? With Bastion main, sorry, I actually just don't know what I said. Did I say diva? Their Wing's going to be chilling main, and our Bastion's looking to step with their form. So I'm just going to be charging my Exo Boots a little. I'm not intending to jump here. I'm actually intending to sort of drop off. I hear their Wing on this left side. I just want to make sure that's not on the high ground, and instead going to be on the low ground, something that cannot pressure us, because if we get scared by that Wu Yang taking an angle, we're going to be in a pretty rough spot. That's Nano Blade coming out. And it's going to be kind of hard for us to keep anyone alive, so I'm actually going to be looking for other values, because I'm not able to out heal a Nano Blade, so I'm going to be pressuring their backline more. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to find enough value. We didn't have our lamp to really keep the people that we needed to alive, nor did we have any healing to be able to survive the Genji burst. We probably could have, we definitely could have tried to sustain and build up our window, but I think that going for a more aggressive play when we didn't have any resources to really exchange on that front line was definitely going to be another fine play that we could do. We don't like to fight losing fights, we want to try to find winning fights. And I don't think that there's much way that we can win into the Nano Blade, so I wanted to look for something else. Thinking about our attack here with the Bastion, Sigma, Kiriko. Tempted to cat, but I'm worried about just killing my Bastion and then they get frustrated and throw. Lucio is a very safe pick here. Bap is also definitely very, very fine. Brigitte would be good, Mizuki would be good, Juno would be good, Wu Ying would be good, Ana would be good, Zen's okay. LifeWeaver would be good. I did get a few requests for a LifeWeaver game, so I think that we can give it a go. If it's not working, then I'm probably going to be swapping to Lucio or Mizuki. Yeah, I think that we'll be swapping to Lucio or Mizuki here if LifeWeaver is not working out, but for the meantime, we're going to be trying to make the LifeWeaver work. want to make sure, especially on this walk-up, that our Sig is going to be okay. They have a Domina, Wu Yang, Sierra. I'm going to be putting a pedal over here to see if I'm able to care our high ground as we walk. Shield is going to be blocking our healing, and I'm really worried about our Sigma, so I'm just going to be pulling them out. Maybe I could have done so a little bit sooner. Our Kiriko is going to be going down. I think that LifeWeaver can work here. It's just going to be a little bit hard if our team wants to be playing into the Domino Shield. I'm going to be giving some space so that I'm able to pull our Sigma out effectively if they get low HP. I need a pull. I'm going to be using this to sort of look over the shield a bit. But unfortunately our Sigma will be going down. I was really hoping that they would get their hands off. With their Domino sort of walking, I'm going to be looking. I could look for a play or I could try to live. I'm going to be looking for a play on their Sierra. Unfortunately not quite able to get it. Ana's on that high ground. I'm wondering if I can poke them out. Making sure that I keep my team in mind here as I think about how I want to open this fight. I'm very close to my tree. It might be the first ult on the field. So we can maybe step with it, trying to like slightly wall off their Domina as we do. Domina walking us down, so I'm just going to be pumping some damage into them as we're going to be in a decent spot here. Our Kiriko hits an amazing cleanse onto us. And their Sojourn's going to be backing up. Their Domina is still left on the point. I really want to be pocketing our Emre, as that's going to be the main carry of our comp. As they get low HP, I'm just going to be using my pull to give them that immortality. A huge rush coming out from our Kiriko, and we're going to be able to clutch up this fight. Just barely able to live through everything. I think that the really big thing there was opening up with the tree and our Kiriko going to heal us, trying to step onto the people who we could have. I got a little bit scared there. Dash distance. So I need the dash distance. It could be nice. I think in the Domina mirror, the 20 health on platform is actually going to be pretty strong because I'm going to be wanting to use my platform a lot to see over the Domina shields. And if I get poked out in those instances, it could be pretty bad. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. They might not have wanted that. I'm going to tree just to keep my Kiriko up and make sure that we win this frontline trade onto the onto the enemy team's Domina. Ana goes 1 HP, my Emre ends up sleeping, so I'm just going to be taking this high ground. And as we have this high ground, I'm going to drop off like a bomb. But we have our pedal later. Our Emre is staged up here as well. Our Domina sitting on point, that's something really important to note, especially as they swap to Mauga. It's going to be pretty important to give them some options. Making sure we're keeping up everybody who we need to keep up. Our Domina is going to be hitting a very nice shield. Our Sierra is going to be looking to blow up the rest of the people as their team walks onto this high ground. I want to just be chilling a little bit. Their Sierra's on the left side. Oh, oh, it's you just have it on melee now. Alright, yeah. How do I... Oh, I have to do it towards somebody? I don't know how this perk works. I've never picked it before. Oh, well. Oh, if I... Oh, I have to heal them. Got it, heard. Okay. Mauga gets low HP. I'm just gonna put my pedal down and ready to grip whoever needs to be gripped out. If we take away their... if we take away the tank, which needs to be the Mauga's primary target, it means that they're going to be self-healing a lot less, as everybody else has significantly smaller hitboxes, and Mauga is going to be self-healing based on the amount of shots and pellets that they're actually landing. So if we're taking their tank out of the fight with our grip, that means that their Mauga is going to be having a lot less sustain and self-healing throughout that exchange, which will be a defensive maneuver and an aggressive one from us, just disabling their Mauga from staying in our team as much as they want to. So thinking about our tree going into this next fight here, they do have Bash and Mauga, so they're going to be able to shred it fairly easily. Tempted to just tree in here. Yeah, I'm just going to tree the cage. Unfortunately, it will not be enough to keep up our Bastion, but that's going to be okay. Their Mauga walks in, their Sierra and Wu Yang want to be stepping at me, which will be okay. We use our pedal to get out, and their Bastion does not have the form, so we're going to be trying to step, making sure that our Kiriko stays alive. I just want to make sure that they don't get bursted, since if we're going to be the only support on this last fight, it'll be kind of rough for us. Now that they're on Junker Queen, I'm going to be playing a little bit further back and playing more for my distance, but it won't matter because they are not going to be able to touch, and we will be winning this point. A little bit of an experimentation there. I thought that the seed used to be only on death. Like once you die, you would drop the seed. But I think, unfortunately, because I just haven't played enough LifeWeaver, there's so many heroes for me to play. Or there are so many heroes to play in this game. Nobody can like truly master all of them. And while I have good enough fundamentals to play most of the heroes in the cast, I won't know the super specifics of a lot of heroes like that new reworked perk. Thank you so much for the follow spy. I appreciate it. Used to be on death like junk nades, but got reworked into a perk. That makes sense. I think that the LifeWeaver was working out for us fairly well. So I'm going to be trying it again here on defense, especially since we're on the Bastion and the Ramattra. We're going to be having some fairly committal heroes that we want to be carrying. And I think that I might actually take the dash perk here for the reason, since we're on defense and making sure that I stay alive and ready to keep people up, as well as getting a little bit more distance between me and their team, or me and the target who I want to try to pull, and increasing a little bit of the distance of how far I can pull somebody will actually be pretty helpful. So they're going to be on that Bastion, which is going to be somewhat scary. Bastion on this main area, and Reinhardt looking to step onto our Ramattra. So I'm going to be pedaling us up back onto the platform here. Since our Bastion likes to be playing this high ground, I don't want to actually be all the way up there. That's kind of nice that I can dash from one high ground to the other. I just want to be keeping an eye on my Bastion. If they put too much damage into them, I'm just going to be instantly ready to pull them out. Or this Kiriko. Since nobody else is in danger, it would have been very okay for me to pull my Kiriko out of there. And now we're going to have our pullback in about 5 seconds. Genji goes down to the Emre nade, but they are going to be able to get the touch, making sure that we're just not trading anyone who we don't need to trade. The Kiriko goes low HP. But their Bastion's about to form, which can be very dangerous, and I want to be putting myself in a spot where their Bastion would not be able to burst me down with those explosive bullets. So I want to drop to the low ground, making sure that I'm still able to provide my healing onto the cart. If they stall long enough to get their form off, it could be really bad, but I want to sort of negate that threat from the enemy team by not allowing myself to die to it by going to low ground. So, thinking about our attack here, we're going to need to win one fight. We have, I think, 3 minutes to do so. We're in a very strong position, but it's still definitely a losable game, especially if they whip out something like a Cat Bastion and our team gets caught off guard regularly by it. It could be fairly scary. Something else to consider is that since it is later round, after the first 2 rounds, we are going to have every perk unlocked. I could go Ana, try to play to build Nano because I have the headshot perk and I'll be doing a lot more damage and potentially finding a frag early. Baptiste also gets a fairly big power spike with both of their perks up, but I think maybe it's just going to be Ana or LifeWeaver. I think that I'll stick out LifeWeaver just so that we're able to get a little bit more gameplay, since I don't know how often I'll be able to whip this hero out. I'm gonna scout their comp actually before I pick my perks. I don't know if we're gonna need the speed boost or not from the seed. I actually didn't use it at all last round because I just forgot about it. We're gonna find a pick onto their team, so I'm just gonna be picking my dash and my thorn so we can maybe continue this pressure. I'm going to be pedaling up to the high ground here. My Armacha is going to take it. Their Wing's going to be going down to our Genji. I want to be supporting this lane as we are developing space. If they get stopped by the Ana or something, I want to be ready to pull it just like that. And it looks like we are going to be able to close out this game, playing LifeWeaver and a little bit of Bap at the start. Ending 22-5, we have 20 assists, 16,000 healing. I think definitely a very strong pick, and we were able to help our team out a lot with developing space, especially on that second point. And he gets play of the game, but that will be a very nice start to our session. We need to try an uphill battle. We're not quite able to get up to Diamond 1, unfortunately, but I think that it will be more than okay, and it's quite a bit of SR. But looking into our next game here, we're going to be on Blizzard World. A lot of heroes that we can play here, remembering that we want to try to lean into Lucio or Brigitte if we can. But let's see what our other support picks. I'm wondering if this is going to be one of the maps where Brigitte is going to be super strong, but I really want to see what the team compositions are looking like. Blizzard World in general, especially on defense, I think Brig can be fairly good because there are going to be those high grounds that you're going to be able to deny as Brig with your whip shot and your bash, and you're just going to be able to brawl out those important spaces a little bit easier than some other supports. But ultimately, if it doesn't pair well, if there's no reason for us to brawl out those high grounds or hold that space, then Brigitte wouldn't be the best pick. Finally caught a live stream. Love the YouTube series. I feel like you've turned a corner on Winston from my videos. Awesome! Wait, that means so much. I'm so happy. This episode going out tomorrow, I feel like I played a really good Winston game, and I explained the thought process behind Winston well. So hopefully that can help even more. Looking like we're going to be having an Orisa, Ashe, Cassidy. This does mean a few things for us, where we can be leaning into that Lucio Brigitte a little bit more, as long as we have a little bit more healing, because our comp is going to be fairly slower, and we want to be playing a lot more for our raw numbers and shooting down the enemy team. Brigitte and Lucio would be quite strong because they're going to be focused a lot more on using their utility to deny the enemy team's plays, and all of our team with the Ana and the Cassidy and the Ashe don't really like being ran at that much. Cassidy a little bit. Cassidy don't mind it too much. And Brigitte, I'll be able to use my whip shot and my bash and my packs to keep up our poke, as well as deny the enemy team if they're on something like a little bit more divey or want to be taking some angles. So we see our Cassidy going low here, and our Ana is focused on healing our Orisa. So I'm just going to be back in here. I'm going to be taking this right side space because our Cassidy wants to be swinging out here. Ready to bash if possible. Like, I need to just be ready to bash out. But as we get the kill onto their Cassidy, there's like a thought process. I could have maybe potentially walked up to try to find a bit more value, or like individual value. Like looking to proc my Inspire, looking to get aggressive and find some potential frags or clean up easier. But because they still had so many people alive, because they especially had their hazard, and their hazard still had their cooldowns, it was going to be more important for me to actually be ready to deny their hazard. So our Cassidy gets walled, and our Orisa wants to be playing up towards the statue. So I'm going to be staged up here, using 2 packs to try to keep my Cassidy up. And as I see their hazard on this right side, I'm going to be looking for an early whip shot, but generally trying to just keep our Cassie in our LOS. As my packs start to come back, I can be looking to top off my Cassie. I'm going to put 2 packs into them and 1 into my Orisa, just because my Orisa is critical and taking a lot of attention, but my Cassie is popping an ultimate, and it's very likely for the enemy team to shift that attention to my Cassidy. I wanted to just make sure that I was ready to keep everyone alive who we needed to. So with that step off of the high noon, we were able to clean up most of them, and now I think that we just want to be chilling. Our Cassie's still on the way back. We don't want to be getting beamed down from their shooters on main, because even though our Orisa is somewhat holding some attention main, since it's a little bit more inconsistent of attention, I think that it's just going to be a little bit too scary to push up. But for now, I'm just going to chill. I'm thinking that we want to be using our combat medic, since if a brawl really breaks out, I think the Inspire actually could be pretty solid here, because we want to be playing a little bit more pokey, and trying to more so deny the enemy team from getting onto us. I think that the Inspire one could be pretty solid. I don't think either one is necessarily like wrong, but I wanted to pick the packs just in case, like, for when they inevitably do get into our team, they do start actually bursting us down. Hitting my flails in that brawl state is going to allow us to... No! Let me see if I can trade her. Damn. And now with that, because I agreed to try to trade out my Ana onto the cat a little bit more, but I'm not going to miss the whip shot, we're going to be in a pretty dangerous spot as they use their Illari ult onto our Orisa to clean them up. I want to be putting some packs into my team, but unfortunately we're just not going to be able to touch. Trying to back up, ready to carry my Cassie, but it will not be quick enough, and we will be losing this point. So Soldier overextends, we're going to be able to just sort of drop and brawl onto it. With the high grounds available to us now on second point, that's going to be a lot more of a common play that we can be going for if they're ever ending up below us. But as our team wants to be postured on this left side, I'm going to try to be really, really fast and be ready to help my Cassie on this high ground. Because if they walk in my Cassie, it could be really, really rough. If they back up main, then it means that they would walk into my Ana LOS, but unfortunately they will still be going down. So will my Ashe. Maybe the better play would have just been to sit main. This feels really yucky for me, because if they recognize that if we're all on the low ground and they're able to take this upper space, it could be really, really bad for us really, really fast, because we don't want to be getting spammed out by their Cassie or their Soldier or their Illari. Once they get their shooters set up, it's going to make our job very difficult. So I wanted to path to deny that, but maybe the more important threat would just be to... maybe the better play would have just been to sit on my team. And I am going to get bursted down, pressuring the high ground a little bit too long there, as I'm trying to get some scouting. My micro is definitely not the greatest this game, and I think that we're making some pretty obvious mistakes. A common trend of them, though, is just recognizing sort of what the threats are and how to play around them. I think that as we were stacking on our team a lot more, we were winning. So maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll just try stacking more. Even if playing on the high ground feels a little bit worse in theory, what matters is that we win the game. Sometimes there's going to be like a theoretically correct answer that won't work. Hazard falls 1 HP. I'm going to throw my last pack onto my Cassidy, and now I'm going to be the main one who needs to sit on the point here. I have my rally and blocking the cat ult, but unfortunately not blocking the Illari. And as they use 2 ults for R1, we are going to be going down, and we unfortunately will lose second point. Wondering if there's going to be a better play here. I'm thinking Mizuki would be pretty good, with the idea of our team has a bunch of damage, and if we're able to hit a chain, if we're able to hit a chain onto their hazard on their steps, then I think that we will be able to actually enable our team to put that damage into the hazard. We're going to be enabling our team with denying the enemy's plays, as well as I think that we're going to be able to do a bit more damage to this cat especially. So now that they're on Mauga, I just want to be scouting on that right side, see if we have any angles coming up. The Mauga is going to mean that our Mizuki pick is a little bit weaker, but definitely not unplayable by any means. So I'm just going to be chilling on main area, and my team will be cleaning up this point. Yo, thank you so much for the sub, the Lambers. Wait, that's an awesome name, the Lambers. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Finally caught you live. It's live free print guns on YouTube. Oh wait, that's you. Oh, that's awesome. So good to see you in chat. I'm glad you could catch a stream. Sorry, I don't have a schedule set up. As our Ana goes up, I'm gonna be kind of poked out by their soldier. So I really want to try and care the people who we need to, as our Ana's fighting that right side and will not be able to heal our team on main. I want to be putting myself in a position to really care the rest of our team with whatever healing I can, because our Ana cannot. So I did the bad thing again of trying to hit shift when I really need to like stay there or cancel. Like I don't need the speed boost anymore and I want to take it off of cooldown, but every time I hit shift on Mizuki I just end up going back because I don't have enough raw hours on the hero. But our team makes some amazing adjustments on that third point and we're going to be able to hold it. Second was a little bit rough for us at some points and we definitely made a lot of mistakes. But I think that the Mizuki swap and generally playing more stacked on our team was definitely the adjustment that we needed to make and contributed to us holding on third. I think that on our attack though, looking like we're going to be having a cat. I'm curious what our tank wants to go with our Cass and acid. Our Cass and Ash staying the same. I think that we're going to need something with a decent bit of healing. Acid. I think that there could be a few good things here. I think that Bap could be pretty good. I think that Juno, Ana, just Kiriko, generally just the healers, the big healers. I'm thinking that Juno might be the best play though, because it will enable our Orisa to get a little bit more active with that speed boost, as well as be able to provide a lot of the healing that we really want for our team. So I think that Juno is going to be the play here. I know we've been playing a decent bit of Juno lately, but she's really fun. She is really fun. She's been growing on me a lot. But any like sort of bigger healer, even probably like Wu Yang could probably work here. So as our Orisa gets rocked, I'm going to be just trying to heal them up. And as soon as I get their armor back, I'm going to be looking for some missiles, finding their way onto the Cassidy, trying to break the shield and keeping our Cassidy up the best that we can. The Orisa's walking and taking a lot of attention, so I'm just going to ring them, see if I can enable any play. Big missiles coming out onto their team. Genji falls one, Cassidy falls one, and the Cassidy's going to be going down, so I'm just going to be taking an angle here to support our Orisa's walk the safest I can, because if I go on that high ground, it's going to mean that their Alari and their Sigma are potentially going to be able to find some angles onto me and poke me out. So if I take that top right, it's going to be a little bit more risky and harder to do my job. But since I pass towards like the bottom left side, it would mean that I'm cutting all LOS from the enemy team while still being able to do my job and clear the space inside of us, as well as heal my team during their walk up. So positioning on Juno is going to be one of the most important things, especially since you don't necessarily have that much kind of big playmaking potential. As nobody's on the cart, I'm just going to back up to grab it. Makes me a little bit scared and nervous because our team wants to continue fighting, especially with our Widowmaker on Cassidy on that right side. If there's any sort of flanks or their cat gets any sort of good engage, it could be a little bit scary, but our team is going to frag out and do get a bunch of kills, take all of the space in the world, and as soon as our cat kind of wants to go in, the cart will have been pushed far enough so we can just step off a little bit and care our Widowmaker who's getting dove by the cat. Our Risa and cat are still sort of just pushing up. It's definitely fine. It is really... it's a little more anxiety inducing to be the one on the cart because the game is a little bit less out of your hands, but this is value. This is very, very strong value and is going to be needed to win games. And no matter what role I'm on, if nobody's pushing the cart, somebody's got to do it. Since Overwatch is an objective-based game in the end, and I like to do what wins. I like to fulfill the objectives. I don't know where that high noon is, so I'm a little bit nervous to walk up. You're so fast. I didn't expect him to be so fast. Showed the other day like Kovacs benchmarks on something. Can I show that again? Yeah, I can show Kovacs. I know the thought of commentary was dubbed over because of how chill it is. I did see a few people commenting that they thought that I was dubbing over commentary, which is very fun. Unfortunately, I think for the first game in this episode that will go up on YouTube, I'll have to dub over it just because I wasn't recording my mic audio. Well, it won't be the first game. It's like the first like 2 fights. I think that I might actually end up dubbing over it, so you'll be able to see what it would sound like if I were to dub over this series. But I like to think about talk about my thought process live, because sometimes it's really easy to look at things in hindsight. It's really easy to say what the right play is, but actually talking through how I get to the decisions that I make in the moment, I think is really, really important for just people to sort of see and try to improve their own mindset and approach to the games. Thank you for the follow, Exit. I appreciate it. Let's grab the game mic audio from the Twitch VOD and then swap it out once the mic gets turned on. I'm trying something a little bit new today, where I saw that I could actually turn off some channels. Right now on the Twitch stream, I have both audio channels up, and we do go up to Diamond 1. I have both my desktop audio and my microphone on channel 1, but recently when I've been streaming the recordings for Overwatch Everyday, it's been a little bit harder because whenever I download the Twitch VOD to go and edit the videos, it's all one channel, so I'm not able to balance the game audio and the microphone separately. So you'll end up hearing like my fan a little bit more, and I don't have as many options to actually kind of like clean it up as I would like. So I'm trying something a bit different today. I'm recording my audio on the side, and in the Twitch VOD it's going to have my desktop audio. I'm recording my mic audio on the side, and in the Twitch VOD it's going to be having my desktop audio. So hopefully I'll be able to have a little bit of a like better audio quality for today, tomorrow, and some Mondays. Oh, it's Sunday already today. So Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday's upload. Hopefully I'll have a bit better quality. But since I forgot to turn on the actual mic recording on the first 2 fights of Hollywood, I will probably end up dubbing over those games. Damn, we've been playing for a while. Yo, thank you so much for the gifted sub. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Lambers. I really appreciate it. I'm planning on getting emotes going. I want to be talking to some artists probably around the start of, is it next week? Around the start of May, so hopefully like later, like over the weekend or something, I'll be talking to some artists to get some emotes going for Twitch and the Discord server. But in the meantime, let me show you guys my Kovacs. My Kovacs does take a little bit longer to load sometimes. I think that I just kind of have it saved in a wrong position on my computer. VOD and 50, remember to eat? Yeah, I'm gonna eat during VOD. Wait, okay, this will probably be my last game on support. But let me show you sort of what this Kovacs looks like. So Kovacs is going to be a aim trainer. It's going to be a game that specifically is designed to help you develop your mechanical aiming skills. So being able to click heads, track, movement aiming. There are a bunch of different scenarios, and you can be looking up different scenarios through these online scenarios. But this is a sandbox mode. If you're newer to aim trainers and this seems like a little bit overwhelming to you, what I recommend is going into the Kovacs benchmarks, and this will give you a very streamlined version of scenarios that will kind of cover all of the different types of aiming. You'll be able to practice all of the different types of aiming sort of at once by just clicking on one smooth or like one concise sort of like spot. So my personal recommendation for anyone who's trying to get into aim training is, where'd it go? I favorited it because I saw it, but where did it go? How do I get to my favorites? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. I recommend Viscose benchmarks. I believe that they're quite digestible for people who are newer to aim trainers, and why I believe that it's more digestible and why I really enjoy these aim trainers. There's Viscose benchmarks, either like beginner or like starting or some sort of word. And then there's intermediate, and then there's advanced. I personally run the intermediate benchmark since that's where my skill level is. While I'm able to get up to like high ranks on Overwatch with and use the mechanics I have to get up there, I'm not actually like that insane of an aimer. When it comes to that, people who actually like aim train a bunch. But why I feel like this is going to be really, really beneficial for people getting into aim training is because it's telling you which scenarios are using which parts of your like arm or actual physical body to aim with. We did get a game. Let me see if I'm on defense. It's push. Okay, I'm going to go through one really, really quickly. So this is going to be one of the arm scenarios where it wants me to just sort of track this ball. And a lot of people will find aim trainers like super, super boring. But it's literally, once you get really into it, it's literally just like going to the gym. It feels the exact same way of like going to the gym, where if you're able to get into it, if you have like a decent trainer or you follow the right benchmarks or the right guides, you're going to be finding a lot of success and improvement in your aim training. And it's going to be a very similar mindset of, man, I'm pushing my new PB. Man, I'm hoping I can get a PB today on this scenario, or I can get a new squat, and whatnot. I know it's all relative to players and playstyle, but I'm curious what people's mouse and DPI and game sensitivity are. I found the most success from playing on lower sensitivities, and my current one is 3.5 in game and 800 DPI. I don't have Nightbot set up yet because I'm a turbo noob when it comes to like anything like technology, and I'm still learning how to be a content creator. But all I know is Overwatch. I like Overwatch. But locking into this next game a little bit here, we're going to have a Winston, Tracer, Genji. There are going to be a lot of heroes that are going to be pretty good here. We're going to be locking the Lucio. Kiriko's the right pick. I want to play Ana though. I'll play Kiri. I pick a little bit too late, so I'm not able to get the TP out. You and Ash will work on Nightbot and get commands active. Thank you so much. That'll be really helpful. I'm going to be a little bit late to the fight, so I'm not able to keep my Winston armor up, but ideally, especially in these sort of like earlier pokier fights, making sure that we can try to keep our tank's armor up is going to be fairly important, as well as our Lucio on the kite. So our Winston's peeling some attention into the backline. I want to be putting myself in spots that are going to potentially be able to care them as they back up. Our Lucio is going to help us speed boost out since this fight is unfortunately lost. A lot of us being a little bit late. So I'm just going to try to keep my Lucio up the best I can. And I don't necessarily need to directly sort of kite out because we have our teleport. As long as somebody's sort of walking out of spawn, will be okay. But I am going to use my teleport to get onto my Doomfist, who's low HP, trying to stabilize in the mini room here. And then I'm thinking about how to open this fight. As I see my Doomfist going in this main area, I want to be taking right, because this will not only allow me to continue healing my team, but also pressure the enemy backline. Unfortunately, I missed all my shots, but we peel a lot of attention off of our Doomfist, so they're able to stable on the front line for free and potentially find more value. Since we had both of our cooldowns and they don't have that much mobility of their team comp, we're able to go for those sort of plays. But if they had something like a Winston or something to sort of like chase me down after I would TP back to my team, I would be a lot more passive with a play like that. I'm not sure walking down my Lucio, but since their Emery ult is up, I really don't want to be TPing that easily. Wall climbing off the ground to make it really difficult for their Emery to actually get that splash damage onto us from around the corner. And we were going to try and stall for as long as we could to get our Suzu back and then fight that 1v1, but we were not quite able to take down their Emery. Going to be a-okay. We have our rush going into this next fight. I'm wondering how to go about this next fight. I hear Tracer behind, and I think that they have pulse bomb, so I want to be ready to care that. Unfortunately, I'm going to need to pulse or Suzu my Lucio, so I won't be able to save it for pulse bomb. As their Tracer goes in, I want to be trying to peel that and cut their uptime the best I can. My Tracer is very, very low, so I'm just going to be pushing the cart, enabling my Doomfist the best that I can. If my Doomfist steps, I might even like TP to try to get active here, which was the wrong decision. I really thought that they wouldn't have as much damage as they did. It was a very bad judgment for me to try and go aggressively there when we didn't have a big enough advantage to push up. I figured that we'd be able to maybe convert with ultimates, but I think that it was too ambitious of me to go for that play. So thinking about the mistakes that we've been making in this game, most of it has been just not keeping ourselves alive that long, where at the start of the fight we were not in position to keep our Winston up in time. And in that one, we go for a little bit too aggressive of a play. That one, I wanted to make sure that I'm keeping an eye on my Doomfist and keeping them alive as much as possible, since that's what we've been struggling with this whole game. I want to make sure that I'm really honing in on it, since if I'm able to successfully execute the idea of just healing and making sure that we're alive and well through these fights, I think that maybe this game will start to turn in our favor, and it looks like that will be the case. Keeping everybody up for as long as we possibly can will allow us to eventually find the frags that we need to turn this fight into a bot push. With Tracer on that top right area, Doomfist is main. I'm not going to be in range quite yet to throw my papers at the Doomfist, but I think that with our Kitsune Rush coming up, if next time that I see my Doomfist go for a really big engage, I might try to follow with my Kitsune Rush. But again, remembering that we have been winning while we play slow, I'm just a little bit worried about their ultimates. Emery falls very low HP, and our Doomfist pops their ults. I'm going to be popping my Suzu to try and keep my Genji up. Lucio's very, very, very one, but I'm not quite able to hit the shot, but they're going to just walk into our Doomfist loving embrace anyways. Very good for us. Ramattra falls 1 HP, and their Tracer overextends just a little bit. As they pop their Emery ult, I really don't want to be in a spot that will get caught out by it. I'm going to be peeling back for my Juno there, and as I see my Doomfist in a little bit of a sticky spot, and I know that they just ulted, so they're not going to have it to sustain themselves. I want to be popping my Rush to try and keep my Doomfist alive. I have two options. I could try to die or look for a trade here. I'm going to be looking for a trade while I die on the cart. Unfortunately, I'm not going to hit the shots that I need to find that Emery, but I think that we've made the right adjustments as we focus a lot more on healing and using all of our utility to try and keep people alive and extend these fights to be as long as possible. Our team is finding the kills that we need to win this game, so as long as I'm able to keep everybody alive that we need to, I think we're going to be very, very chill. So Lucio fortunately gets out. We're also just not hitting our kunais that much, which makes playing for any other value than healing kind of hard. That is going to be a-okay with our Doomfist going in. It's going to be kind of difficult for our team to recover from this. We were trying our best to keep our Juno alive, but since they go down a little bit earlier, we're not going to have that much in terms of raw numbers. As our Juno comes back, our Doomfist is feeling a lot of attention, but was unfortunately not able to live on their kite. Taking a look at the rest of my team inside our space, I'm just going to be TPing over. As their Emery ult gets used, I'm going to be taking a look at the rest of my team as well as my Juno. I see my team going fairly low. Knowing I have Rush coming back in a second, I want to try to pop my Rush on the point and then using my TP 2 times in a fight to see if I'd be able to live. But unfortunately, I won't be able to get that second TP off in time, just barely dying beforehand. And I think that I'm going to swap to Ana. I think Ana will be a fairly good adjustment, especially now since we don't have our ultimate ability online. Their Tracer is going to be able to find a lot of value by looking for their flanks. But I think that as the Ramatra wants to step more, we can be looking for our nades and our sleep dart to cut down their uptime a lot while still maintaining our healing onto our Doomfist and our Genji. Our Doomfist is going to be able to find the kill onto the Emery, and I'm going to see if I can try to care them. Unfortunately, we'll be just a little bit late. Tracer's probably close to pulse. I'm going to wait for the Ramatra to walk into this doorway before I use my sleep dart. Since he's going to be in form and just really, really big, it's going to be really hard for me to miss that. But since we overextend just a little bit, and now we're no longer on Kiriko to really follow up and try to keep everybody alive, we will be going down. My Doomfist goes into the back line once more, so that means that they're probably going to be taking some attention pretty soon. As I see my Doomfist get low, it means that there's going to be a little bit more space for me to walk up and use. So I'm going to be using it to sort of poke out their Matra. Juno tagged once, Lucio main. I really want to just be making sure that my Doomfist stays alive, and I want to hit my nades, ideally. Hitting a nade onto their Emery. Doomfist falls very, very 1 HP. I'm going to drop off this high ground, even though it's putting myself in a bit worse of a spot. It'll hopefully enable me to do my job a bit better. Sleep onto the Ramatra, but it will get woken up shortly after, and we will not be able to find our way into the Ray. If I tried to cross the open space to get into our Ray and have that healing onto us, I think that it would have led to our death, since their Emery had a really good sightline on it. Big nade coming out onto their backline, but unfortunately my Genji will be going down before they're able to follow up on it. I'm very close to my nano boost here. My Doomfist is going to be chilling on this main area. Emery ult comes out, and I'm going to be nanoing my Sojourn, even though my Doomfist is fighting on cart. Because I need to be using the speed boost to live, I need to keep my Sojourn up. I want to make sure I can keep up whoever I can in these fights and not trade out. No. Tracer is walking onto us from this high ground. So I'm going to be playing and backing up on that corner, trying to make sure that I don't get traded out, because if I get traded out, there's going to be no real way that we can win this point. We're going to need the sleep dart utility as well as the nade to try and turn this game around. Sticking overtime, I really don't want to be the one on the cart, but I want to be pocketing the one who is touching the cart on our team. There are missiles coming out. I want to make sure that I avoid them. Tracer looking into our backline. I'm going to let my Sojourn handle that as I hit the sleep dart. Keeping up our Kiriko and our Genji will allow us to look at their backline a little bit more, looking for a nade just to see if we can get any sort of further extension. Ideally, I want to be getting coast side on right, like now. Their Juno goes down early, so I don't necessarily need to be putting myself or taking any dangerous rotations, but as my Doomfist takes some aggression, it's going to open up some space on the map for us to walk up. My Doomfist does have their ultimate, but since the Ramacho swap in form, I'm going to be backing up this far right area. Emery's on this right side, my Sojourn slides in. We'll be immediately getting out. No, no, no! I knew that they had pulse last fight, and that's why I wanted to commit my sleep onto them, but... oh. And that will be the clutch play that will win them the game. If I was able to recognize a little bit sooner that my Doomfist was taking some aggression and get staged on that top left area, it would have been putting myself in a much more favorable position to hit a sleep dart onto their Tracer. But since there were just so many angles that they could sort of come from, I was not prepared to react or dodge the pulse bomb in any way, and it was just really, really fast. Unfortunately, I will be losing that game, but it was definitely a very valiant effort. I think that the Ana swap was the right pick, putting more utility into their team as well as focusing more on our healing rather than trying to open up space for our team was definitely the right play, and Ana was going to be able to help with all of that, but sometimes she's gonna fall a little bit shy. Thank you for the follow, Panchirp. Timeout. Astro, are you timing people out? I forgot what timeout is supposed to do, or people are deeming timeout. Looking at the clock here, wondering how many games we just played for our support. We just played 3 games for support. Okay. And I think that will be good for this episode of Overwatch Everyday. So for my YouTube audience, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bang. Hello, post-editing Evie here. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I just want to try to implement a quick little recap. So at the start of this game, we were talking a lot about our damage numbers as well as our positioning on Baptiste, which ended up not being enough for that Hollywood game. But with the swap to LifeWeaver to prioritize our mobility, our survivability, and being able to go up and above the Dominus shields was going to allow us to win that game. For our second game on Blizzard World, we were going to play some Brigitte, talking a lot about denying space, map control, and where the most important places we need to stand are and how to determine that. Later swapping to Juno on attack, going into some detail about how we want to be positioning ourselves in order to heal the people that we need to heal aggressively and still controlling that map space. While staying outside of the enemy team's LOS and making sure that we are not getting chunked down on our walk-ups. For our final game, we were on Kiriko, trying to be a little bit too flanky at the start and then prioritizing a bit more of a frontline heal style with our Ana swap. Unfortunately, it was just not quite enough to close out that game, but we had the right adjustment just a little bit too late. But with that all said and done, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.